Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. If you like what you're hearing, hit the subscribe button, give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
You're listening to the Hockey Betting Podcast, presented by BetChrisCanada.net. This is the Hockey Betting Preview for Monday, February 10th, 2020. And now, live from Las Vegas, the host of the Hockey Betting Podcast, Brian Blessing.
All right, boys and girls, it's a brand new week, and it is the Hockey Betting Podcast. Glad you're with us, Brian Blessing, Cam Stewart. We're in Las Vegas, and hey, listen, we all have good days. We all have bad days. We've been, knock on wood, we've had a good run. Yep. Those of you that have been with us, hope you're having fun, hope you're enjoying it, hope you're cashing tickets. But I will tell you, I don't know, Cam, what was in the water, but we hammered Saturday. I mean, crushed Saturday. Calgary at Vancouver. Vancouver's first game back from the long road trip. Vegas bit the bit late. First game home from a long road trip. Carolina wins. Pittsburgh over Florida. Saturday
Edmonton came back and won. Even Brian, one we didn't talk on the show. I'm like, after Dallas lost to Minnesota in a bad form, I came back to them and they got it done at plus 140. You're right. Saturday was magical, and I'm like, hey, I got a little money in my pocket. I took my lady to the buffet yesterday. It was champagne and orange juice day at the San Tropez buffet that you told me about, where I basically made Colonel Sanders look like a clown when I ate. I basically ate through steel getting to that fried chicken, and it was a great day, Brian.
That explains the 18-wheeler that was behind the casino.
Anyway,
reloading the buffet line.
Yeah, three plate minimum, and a tip before we get into hockey, guys. If you're going to go to the buffet, don't worry about the carbs. Stick to the prime rib. The turkey, all the good stuff. Get your $20 worth of meat, and then you could start, doing other things. Get the expensive stuff in you. But anyway,
I think you're right. I mean, listen, you want strategies. We're always trying to get strategies. Yeah. You can't go wrong with the carved ham, the carved turkey and ham. Maybe they'll have prime rib. That's good. You never know. Sometimes, sometimes the Chinese food, like the fried shrimp. It might be good, or you might just sit at the table and play a game of jacks with them.
No, I've learned, Brian, it's kind of like hockey betting. I'm a buffet connoisseur, so I've learned like what to put in you, what to leave. And I'm a big fan of the mashed potato, but it's going to fill you up and it's not going to get it done. You got to save room for the expensive smoked salmon.
Prime rib, let alone.
Anyway, we got the Sabres up 3-1 with the over at the end of the first period. I go, this is going to be a great day. And I look at the final score, 3-2. I wanted to put my head in under the mashed potatoes.
3-2 with half the game to go. Sabres hit the crossbar 2 or 3 times. Oh. Miller made a bunch of good saves.
Miller time.
And then in Anaheim, icing the puck instead of being patient. No empty netter. It was sickening. I mean, it was one of those where you're sitting there. Oh, that's a win, and you're on to the next thing, and then like all of a sudden.
It's not a win. We're not on to the next thing.
It was ugly.
We had a great Saturday. It's going to happen to you. Like that rarely happens. We get 4 goals in the first period. They get 1 the final 40 minutes. But anyway, Brian, this card's kind of interesting on Monday. Usually we only have a couple games. We got a nice, what do we got? A 6-pack tonight? Yeah, a 6-pack. I like that. I like beers. I like a 6-pack. And you know what? First game out of the gate, Arizona, Montreal. I'll tell you, Arizona, you brought this up a couple podcasts ago. It's Antti-Ranta, then it's Hill. Like, you got no goal. There's no goaltender there. They scored the first goal in Boston. But I will say this. If Arizona is going to win a game, this is the type of game that I like. Montreal playing well, feeling good about themselves. I know Carey Price has been a lot better, but we're getting a price now with the Coyotes. We're coming off that loss to Boston and a close one, 3-2. They actually played a lot better than Boston in that game. I watched it at the casino. And I'll tell you something. I'm going barking and howling with the Coyotes tonight. I know Montreal's hot, but this is the type of game. I've watched this team a lot. Montreal, this is the type of game they lose. Give me the Arizona Coyotes at a plus price.
And from a motivation perspective, okay, and we've talked about it with this Coyotes team. They get hot or they're horrible. They're 2-5-3 in their last 10. But all of a sudden, Cam, they're a point behind Calgary for the last wild card spot. but they're only 4 points out of first place. But this is a moment in time with the trade deadline coming up. They either stay in the hunt or they're Rick Tocchet gets Phil Kessel's hand, hops in a car, and drives off a cliff like Thelma and Louise. It's one or the other.
No, and that's the thing. I think, this league, they like to keep it really tight till the end, keep everybody interested, and I just think it's the type of game that Arizona can win. As for a total in this game, I'm going to be honest with you, sides are working for me better. You're more of a total player than I am. I'm just going to take the Coyotes at a plus price, Brian, and hopefully we get it done tonight. I think it's actually a good spot. They played that game against Boston. I think they understand what they need to do in Montreal, and they'll bring their A game tonight.
All right, Philly is $1.35 against the Panthers. These two teams to me, are cut from the same. Oh, by the way, the other one we nailed? I forgot was Philly.
Oh, yeah, I said Philly is a dangerous dog against Washington.
Philly over Washington because they played so bad against the Rangers.
That's right.
When a team bottoms out and gets embarrassed, that's how close this league is. So that being said,
that's my favorite angle. Like you talk about dad's trips, you talk of whatever. I'll give you even something simpler, Brian. We talk about we're not the smartest guys in the world, but sometimes we are. That's my angle. When teams get murdered, come back to them. Don't get off them. Get on them. And it works, I'll tell you, at least 70, 80% of the time. We did it with the Devils. We did it with the Flyers. And I'm telling you, when Washington got killed, when the Flyers lost to the Devils, I even said, Brian, I got a weird feeling about this game. And not only did they beat Washington, they pummeled them as a huge pooch.
All right. Well, Philly and Florida, they to me, they're one and the same. Here's Florida. I mean, literally, they've lost 3 in a row. Basically, if you're a Panthers fan, you go to the game, go to the bar, get a vodka and Epicac, and be done with it. They're going to do it again. But honestly, I don't think the Panthers can help themselves. Flyers put a 7 spot on the Cabs. It's Florida. I don't trust either one of these teams, but I do like the over.
Yeah, you're more of the totals. I don't know. I've been like these half goal, sometimes the heartbreaking losses with totals. I'm just going to tell you one thing, though, Brian. Like the visiting team in the game before, I'm taking Florida tonight. I think we're getting 10, 15 cents with the Panthers. I think they understand what needs to be done. Philadelphia is one of those teams. They look great one night. They look like dog meat the other night. It's not my favorite game on the board, but I will say this. If for all you guys that like to sprinkle and play a lot of games, I'd take both dogs. Coyotes, Panthers. Done.
If you want to give me a bark, and see, now the problem is Washington got pitchforked.
That's the thing. They're
laying $1.07. I'm just telling you, I see the Islanders really starting to put things together here with Trotz. I think this is a team to watch for in the last month. The total on the game is 6, only because Washington got carved is going to put me on the sidelines here.
I'm going to tell you something. This is the game. You look at the over in the other game. This is a sneaky over game. The Islanders actually score goals. They give up goals because of the defense when they lost Pulock. The Capitals, on the other hand, they could score at will. They had a bad game against Philadelphia, 6. I actually, and you know me, Brian, I look for sides before totals. I kind of like the Capitals in the over in this spot. I think we can get over 6 goals in this game.
Tampa Bay at Columbus. And the big news here, Seth Jones is out. That's a devastating loss.
Huge loss for Columbus. I would have probably taken them. Like, they played good. Remember I told you, I said they might be sneaky against Colorado? Yeah. They were leading 1-0 the whole game. Then the game got tied, and they lost 2-1. That's classic Columbus. They got that first goal, and they did nothing after that. I would look to Columbus tonight, but without Jones, he is so vital to that team. Like, he's probably the most important player. You've seen it, Brian. He logged so many minutes. Power play, does all the little things. I hate to say it, but the Lightning are probably going to go in there and win that game if they show up. But I'm not really in.
Well, let me try to talk you into. Can I talk you into one?
Yep.
We love hockey, right? Because we say that they don't pay attention to things. Mm-hmm. Be it backups, both backups are playing. It doesn't move 20 cents to the over. I think they overreact. Seth Jones is out. The total goes from 6 to 5.5. Well, if Seth Jones isn't out there and he plays 27 minutes, and you're giving me more goals. You're giving me a total of 5.5 with Tampa Bay.
No, it's a good point, Brian. And no, I agree.
I think they brought a total down because Jones is out, and he's good on the point offensively. Yeah, that's true.
But he logs minutes defensively.
But he also prevents goals.
Yes, that's the thing. And if we're in that meeting with the bookmakers, that's what me and you bring to the table. We're like, guys, I get it. Jones might cost you a point on the power play, but he's also going to stop a goal or two as well because Columbus is a little bit thin back there and he plays so many minutes. So I'm with you. You can't take an under in a Tampa Bay game for the most part. Hell, they can get five or six themselves, right? So, I would lean to the over in that game. So far I'm talking. I like a sneaky over with the Islanders and Capitals. Every time they get together, it's over. And I can agree with you, Brian. I have a lean to the Lightning as my side, and you're a fan of the over.
And I understand why. To a degree, I understand why. Last 3 games, Columbus 1-0 against the Panthers.
That's true.
2-0 against the Red Wings. 2-1 against Colorado. I get it, but I mean Tampa Bay is offensively. I mean what they bring to the table, man, is just. Look at them. They've scored 3-4-4, 3-4-4. Yeah. They haven't scored less than 3.
So they get 4.
6 straight games.
Columbus gets 2. You're there.
I think I talked myself into it. I don't know if I talked you into it.
Yes, you did, Brian.
Now, what I would normally do.
You love those. I love you, Brian. Like it's funny. Like you love totals. Like it's interesting the way
totals to me, Cam. I mean it. I mean to me. And again, the thing about hockey, the goalie is the great equalizer, so anything can happen. But in all sports, 70% of what I play are totals. In that, you get bad bounces, backdoor covers, and all this other stuff in football. But if you're handicapping a game, you're handicapping 60 minutes pace of play.
Yeah.
That that I don't know. To me, it's a simpler way to go. Yeah. That doesn't mean we sat here. We had Pittsburgh, we had Vancouver, we had Carolina.
That's why I'm taking sides. Like it's almost like kind of like what's your game in the casino? And maybe we could talk about this too for a future broadcast. But if sides are working for you, stay with sides for a while. It's kind of like your appetite, right? I feel like Chinese tonight. Well, we haven't had Greek in a while. That's the way I look at, sides and totals and stuff. And if you're hot with one, you ride it out, and then you start to feel like it's weird, Brian. Waves, right?
Well, the things we talk about, Cam, and why in hockey, I swear to you, like we said, we do a golf podcast too.
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson was $1.35 against Nick Taylor in a head-to-head matchup in the final round of a golf tournament. Guy that's been there, done that against a guy that is desperate for a win, and it was $1.35. And I'm sitting there going, that looks low to me.
Yeah.
But I'm just not in the business of laying $1.35 on anything.
I know. I love the way you approach
on the hockey menu.
Yeah.
Right. Why would you lay 40 cents on anything? But you should be playing anything that's close to even or a plus price.
I agree with you.
Because over the course of time, that juice kills you.
I know it does. I do it once in a while, but since I've known you, I put more like $1.35s, $1.40s in parlays. Do the 2-game round robins, turn it into a plus
or a puck line.
Once in a while, though, those games like 3-2 and stuff like that. Sometimes I just look at a game and go, "Who's going to win?" It's how you approach it. I think both, you could do it either way. We just want to give you ways and guidelines. But I'm with you. Sometimes like certain teams, I go, they usually win by a goal or in overtime. So you pick your spots. Anyway, the final 2 games on Monday's card, I really have a strong opinion on.
Oh, good, because let me give the lay of the land here. Nashville's 20 cents on the road at Vancouver, the total 6. Now, we were all over fading Vancouver first game home from the long road trip.
Correct.
And we were all about fading Calgary and Edmonton after the Battle of Alberta. Now the smoke is cleared. Now this is a hockey game, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now Vancouver is basically hit the skids. But Pettersson had been hurt too, right? Nashville, who's been more consistent this year? I think by a country mile, it's been Vancouver.
For sure. And now you're giving me Vancouver as not you're not even laying 20 cents. You're getting even money with these guys. Sign me up. The Canucks are going to make the card. It's going to be one of my favorite plays tonight. I think they find a way to beat the Predators tonight. It's a great price. We're getting a home team, and we don't have to lay any juice. Brian, I love it. And in the final game, it's another tough one too. I'm going to the Flames look great against Vancouver, and I got to be honest with you. I think they understand the importance of these games. We talked about Arizona. I'm going to do the old Alberta, British Columbia 2-step with Vancouver, and I'm taking Calgary over SJ Sharkey.
So you're doing the Alberta two-step. Is that to a
the Alberta
stomp?
BC?
Yeah, is that to a Stomp and Tom Connor tune?
It might be. Well, that's the song that you have for your opener, right?
Yeah.
For your
Well, we can roll the hockey mum.
hockey
We can roll the hockey mum song out. Hi, hockey mum.
Anyway, I don't know how you feel about this one. I really like Vancouver. I'm going to ask your opinion. I think the Flames go in and take care of business against the Sharks. What's your take?
Sharks are dog's breakfast. Calgary, Vancouver, Vegas, Arizona. The trade deadline is looming here.
Yep.
This is a monster segment of the season for teams.
It is. I take Calgary. I'm just saying I like Vancouver more, but I lean Calgary over the Sharks. You want to get on to Tuesday, buddy?
I'll tell you we do, but we're going to take a break and don't go anywhere. We're coming right back with a look at the busy Tuesday menu in the NHL on the Hockey Betting Podcast. We'd like to thank BetChrisCanada.net for their support of the Hockey Betting Podcast. I'm Brian Blessing in sunny Las Vegas.
And I'm Cam Stewart in cold Toronto, Canada.
If you love hockey and you're in Canada, and Cam is, by the All-Star break, even if you can't stop thinking about taking a vacation someplace sunny and warm, but you don't want to miss out on any of the hockey action, look for a BetChris near your next holiday destination.
BetChris is one of the leading sports books in the Western Hemisphere, with hundreds of sports betting locations throughout the Caribbean and Latin America.
Watch the game at a BetChris location. Food and drink specials and VIP lounges are available at many BetChris locations. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open your BetChris account.
Place some bets on your game and collect your cash at the window when the game is over.
BetChris offers single bets, parlay bets, teasers, and more on pregame and live odds for hockey and all your favorite Canadian and American sports leagues. And BetChris offers a variety of team and player props, including futures.
BetChris offers the best value odds on Canadian and international sports. Use the promo code PODCAST when you open up your account at a BetChris location. Deposit $750 or more and get up to a 40% reduced commission on your sports bets, up to minus 106 on single bets and parlay bets. That's the best juice in the biz.
So, if you're planning a trip to exotic locations from the Caribbean and Mexico to Peru and almost everywhere in between, the odds are very good. There's a BetChris Sportsbook where you're going on holiday. For more information about visiting a BetChris location while you're on holiday, or to listen to or subscribe to the Hockey Betting Podcast, visit BetChrisCanada.net. That's BetChrisCanada.net. Cam, you're Canadian. When you leave Canada and you're heading south, use the promo code PODCAST. All right, here we go. On to Tuesday. Tuesday's Thursday, Saturday. Cam started the show talking about the Saint-Tropez buffet.
It's pretty good, actually.
This is a hockey buffet on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Is. Lots of choice. The only problem with the Saint-Tropez buffet, I would say their Italian section is a little bit weak.
The pizza's good.
Lasagnas and cabaneras. I think their Chinese section is strong. And I think the meat carving station is exceptional. Sorry, Brian. Continue.
How do you screw up a salad? And ice cream is always good.
Actually, I had some soft serve, and it really toned down my tummy. I didn't need a Zantac. At the end, I'm like, oh, God, I feel like my stomach's busting through. I got a little vanilla soft serve and felt like a champ.
Cam, are you that guy that you go up to the carving station? It's your third trip up there. You say, you lay it thick. Lay it on thick. You give me some turkey. Give me some ham. You know what?
Yeah.
Mashed potatoes don't look too lumpy. Pile it on. Get the gravy, right? And then you get a Diet Pepsi.
No, I get the full calories, Brian. And another thing, kind of like when I get my vegetables, I say run it through the garden twice. When I go to the meat carving station, take me to the ranch thrice. Pig, or what you got? Beef, pig, and turkey. Gobble, gobble, gobble. Let's rock. And
then as you walk away, do you look at the guy and say, what other animals you got back there?
Yeah. You got a llama in the back? Put him on the spit. I'm hungry. Give me some Euro.
We're hungry for winners on a Tuesday. Arizona
I could never be a vegetarian, but I love hockey betting. Let's go, Brian.
Arizona back-to-back nights at Toronto. Toronto's $1.95. The total $6. I don't know, buddy.
Arizona, I'll tell you one thing. If Arizona loses to Montreal, that Leafs game against Anaheim was a dog's breakfast. I felt bad for Campbell. It was his first game there, and they hung him out to dry. He wasn't very good either, but come on, guys. It's a new goaltender. Like, play better defense. Lucky to get the win, Brian. Seconds left in overtime. Tavares gets the winner. I'll tell you something. If Arizona...
Toronto's so lucky. I mean,
they are
Toronto's lucky to be where they are.
I agree with you. And see, this is the thing. This is a podcast. I'm a fan of this team, and I'm telling you, this is a joke. $2, I'll tell you, if Arizona loses to Montreal, you come with the Coyotes. And this is a typical game that the Leafs will lose. You're getting $1.70 with Arizona. If Arizona beats Montreal, I'll start to think, tough game. I'll tell you something.
Here we go.
Probably take the over.
Thank you. Yeah, okay. And I was just okay. After the whole previous diatribe, I don't like totals. I'll take the over.
No, but you know what I'm saying.
No. But I was gonna make a case for it. Here's the deal. Anderson. Here's the news. Anderson was placed on IR.
Yeah,
but by when they placed him on IR and plotted back, he likely is going to come off IR for this game. And we've already talked about Ranta and what a mess that they've been.
And Hill.
Okay. So if Anderson comes back, first of all, he wasn't playing. I mean, he played great in the early part of the season. He was struggling for a while there. He was swimming in the net, but he's got some rink rust he's got to shake off.
Exactly.
Even if he comes back, I'd go over 6.
You know what? When you're a guy, you're playing with a good defensive team, you're like, I got no problem. I get back in the game. Not with this team. This defensive core is horrid. I can't believe it. Like, you had that much trouble with the Anaheim Ducks. Like, yeah, that's embarrassing. Like, you know what I mean? The Sabres should have beat the Ducks. Like you said, they hit like 5 bars. Like, give me a break. Toronto's just one of these teams. They're priced way out of control. You take the dog and you take the over when you're playing these guys. Hell, you probably get plus on the puck line if you like Arizona, plus 1.5.
Right. Detroit's at Buffalo, and the fans in Buffalo are wearing bags on their head now going to the game. And the Sabres are 215 favorites in this game, total of 6. And Detroit just beat them last week.
Yeah,
I'm not going anywhere near it.
I would take a shot with the Red Wings. You're right, pass. This game sucks. You know what? Buffalo could win if they have any type of pride. I'm not sure if they do, but Detroit at plus 180 looks a little bit juicy. And I'll tell you one thing, with teams like this, you might as well kind of lean over again. There's not going to be much defense or goaltending in this game. It's only 6.
All right, I'm going to take a little mini shot here, buddy.
Pittsburgh?
Tampa is at Pittsburgh.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Listening? Yep.
Pittsburgh lost at Tampa 4-2. Pittsburgh's playing great.
Yes, they are.
We had Pittsburgh at Florida. It's Pittsburgh's first game home from a 3-game road trip, and Tampa is playing on back-to-back nights. So you're getting Tampa Bay even money. Total on the game is 6.5. I think I'd take Pittsburgh's been an amazing story this year.
They sure have.
But just in the sheer value, and I hate value, I hate that word.
Yeah, I know.
But on the number itself is Tampa. I think I'd come back with Tampa.
Yeah, the more initially I was thinking Pittsburgh, and I'm thinking, with a lot of factors, a lot of trends don't really work in the Penguins' favor there. They have been overachieving. You're getting a very good Lightning team at a dog price. Yeah, I lean that way, Brian. I don't love the game, but yeah, I would lean with Tampa Bay.
Next one. All right, Florida and Jersey. Florida back-to-back nights, $1.40 on the road. It's a nothing burger for travel.
I can tell you one thing.
The total is 6.5.
Done.
Well,
again. How good has this team been to me, Brian? I told you I'd take them.
I know.
Everyone's like, bounce back spot for the Kings. That line was so line. I almost got tricked. It was such a sucker line. I got scared, and I didn't go as hard as I usually do because I love the Devils in that spot. I'm like, what, minus 115 now? The whole world's betting on the Kings? Are you kidding me? Well, give me the Devils. The Devils are they're going to play they're a second-half team right now. They embarrassed Philadelphia. They're at home getting 20 cents against Florida, who's unpredictable. I'll take the Devils.
Well, what's going on? I'll tell you what's happening here. Nikita Gusev has finally figured out the NHL. He's been really, really, really good for them. Paul Mary I love this guy.
Awesome.
I think Paul Mary would be one of the, if at the trade deadline, if the Devils moved him.
Giving away Paul Mary.
It's an aisle 9 blue light. It's an aisle 9 blue light special in Jersey. I'm just saying,
okay.
if you could pry Paul Mary out of there with a crowbar, he'll put somebody over the top. But as you said, they've been good to you, right? Here's the Devils. They beat the Kings 3-0. They beat the Flyers 5-0. They lost 5-4 to the Habs. The Devils are consistently scoring, and that's Florida's game.
Yes.
I got to go over 6.5 here.
Oh, I'm not gonna fight you on the total. I'll take the home dog. You take the over, Brian. Hopefully, we hit both.
Philly and the Islanders.
This is a good spot for the Islanders, isn't it?
Well, they both play tonight. They both have to travel to the island for the game. The Islanders only laying 20 cents, total 6. I mean, I'm a fan of Trotz and the Islanders. At a low price, I'd probably lean the Islanders.
I would too. You know what? A lot of this stuff's dependent on Monday too. I like to look at how teams go on Monday, if they get embarrassed, whatever, for Tuesday. But my initial lean is if the Capitals beat the Islanders, which I think they will, the Islanders understand the desperation at home, laying 20 cents against Philadelphia, a team they should beat. Give me the New York Islanders at 20 cents.
All right, buddy. You might want to call the butcher, bud.
Salami time? Salami.
You might want to call the butcher because
the butcher knows me.
Winnipeg's offense is going again, and the Rangers, you know, they've got 3 goalies, and I don't know which one you're playing, and will they move Lundqvist? But the Rangers, man, with Zibanejad and Kakko and Kreider's skating like the wind.
Kreider, he's fast.
It's an out-of-conference game. I'd lean over the 6 in this one.
Rangers are a weird team. You know, they were kind of like screwing around with the Kings, and they finally broke out in the third period to get that win, Brian. I like what I saw there. But as for the Jets, they understand the desperation, too. This is a very, very difficult game. And I will say this. I think the Jets were aided. I'll be real. I think Chicago got robbed in that game on Sunday night. I think the Jets got a lot of tic-tac calls going their way when Chicago had a 2-1 lead against them. They tied it up. They went 3-2. They get the empty netter. Don't let the box score fool you. The Rangers might be a live dog in this game. For me, I am not betting Winnipeg. I might bet the Rangers, and I know you like the over.
I think I'm going to step up to the plate here in a large way here.
Okay, I'm ready to rock. Vegas at the Wild?
Vegas at Minnesota. Vegas comes home, first game home from an 8-game road trip in the All-Star break, had a 2-goal lead, squandered it. And then, of course, you know what you're going to get, right, on the broadcast and the fans.
Yeah.
Well, they got a point. You know what? That's a defeatist attitude. You got a point. You blew a 2-goal third-period lead twice, all right? You gave a point away. Stop with you got a point. At least I hate that. At least they got a point. I hate that.
No.
All right, so let me finish. Let me
say you at least got a point when you score 0.4 seconds left in the third period.
Exactly.
You don't say it when you piss away leads. That's an uneducated hockey fan who doesn't really know what the hell's going on. I'll tell you one thing. This is a back up the Brinks truck special. I usually don't do different unit sizes all the time. I do once in a while, but the Vegas Golden Knights will go into Minnesota and beat the Wild, and the game will go over.
I think it's the team that was a stone in their shoe. I think in Minnesota, hot, cold, they make a push, they fall short. I think Vegas goes in here. I think this is a mad hockey club.
I agree.
And they came back, played one game, go back on the road, business trip, come home. And I will tell you this, because the biggest bet on the card is coming up later tonight.
Oh, okay.
And there's another one coming on Thursday, and that is St. Louis at this late stage, and we'll get to it. But I'll say it now because Vegas better go beat Minnesota because St. Louis is coming into Vegas Thursday on the dad's trip.
Yep, and we'll probably be on the Blues there too. No, it's funny. The TV's on in the background. Just saw the highlights to the Vegas-Carolina game. God, I wish I went to that game. What a game it would have been to go to. But anyway, that's a story for another game.
Okay, so we like Vegas very, very much so.
Oh, against Minnesota, Vegas, and I think they score 4 or 5 against Minnesota. So I call the butcher again. Give me another salami stick to go.
I'm steering clear of this one. Carolina
I like
is
Carolina.
Dallas.
I like Carolina. It's a tough game, though.
I don't know, buddy. You beat Arizona.
I know.
Okay, and that was, you beat Arizona. You come from the grave, and you beat Vegas.
Good point, actually. That's
and
a good point.
Now you're going to Dallas, and
Dallas might be angry.
And Carolina was kind of playing with fire a little bit. There's a better games on the card for me. But
you know what? You're right. Actually, the more you talk about it, at first glance, I like Carolina, but I'm kind of looking at Dallas now. There's a lot of things to like there. Ottawa, Colorado, we got to pass, I guess, because
No, you don't.
Colorado's -2. Okay, Colorado puck line. Like,
Come
what do you
on.
want to do?
Buddy, how many podcasts have we done? Are things growing and the people listen? We just gave all these things. It's Colorado, first game home from a 5-game road trip. Sign me up.
Are you actually going to take the Ottawa Senators as your dog with rabies, one eye, flea bag? He's got ticks. That's a lot of juice, baby.
Isn't it? Ottawa's lost. Woo. Ottawa, Cam, that angle, how many times have I said it?
Kids are scared of, Brian, there. That
Listen,
dog's ugly.
I'd be talking out of both sides of my mouth if I didn't say play this, because we talked about the Vegas Carolina things. I don't care, I don't care who you are. If it's Team X and Team Y, I don't care who you are. Insert said team coming home from a 5-game road trip. Vancouver just did it. They lost. Vegas just did it. They lost. We did. How many? We had 5 of them.
Oh, you're right. If Ottawa wins this game, you're going to pad your bankroll there. Okay. No, I'm listening. I'm listening. And I can tell you something. By game time, this is an early line when we're taping these shows. You're going to get Ottawa at +250 plus, not 220. People will be hammering Colorado.
But you know, the thing
you might get 270.
But I mean, if you're I don't know. If you're a $50 bettor, throw $25 on them.
Yeah, I know. I know. You're absolutely.
Or take a little flyer and swing for the moon with your best game. Take your best game or your best 2 games of the night.
You put Ottawa in a parlay,
and then do a little dinky little parlay.
Ding dong.
On the ones you love, and if that hits, you're sitting there shooting flares into the sky.
Yeah, you are shooting flares in the sky. You're right. It's going to be a huge price, guys. And I'll tell you one thing: if you like Ottawa, wait. Everybody, as my buddy Gamblu says, those parlay playing pukes. You know what I mean? Take just money line chalk. Like we laugh when he talks about that. Every parlay will be connected to Colorado, so just wait on Ottawa. You'll get a better price.
Listen, we got to get going here. We only got a couple.
We do.
But you know what? I'd say this too with in-game wagering. All right. Now you sit there, and if you did that and you hooked them into 2 of your favorite games are the early game, and they hit, and now you got Ottawa going at the balloon number.
Yeah.
Well, now you sit back and maybe you're sitting there and it's a free roll for a nice score. But you know what? Now you watch the game, and now you sit there and you do a cartwheel and hope that Ottawa jumps out to a 1-0 lead. And all of a sudden, Colorado's -20 cents or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And now you come back the other way, and you're printing money.
No, it's a great way. And I told you this live betting stuff in hockey, these home teams down a goal, it's a recipe for success. You're right. A lot of the time, just sit back and wait. And that's why another good thing, attaching a late game to an early game parlay is a good thing.
You got to stagger them. You got to stagger them.
That's the thing. Like, I look at the card. If I'm gonna put a final game, like Monday's a good example. If you like the Canucks. At 10:08 Eastern time, 7:08 Vegas time. There, I'll attach it to something at the 7:08. Absolutely correct, Brian. Next game, Chicago Edmonton. I can tell you right now, I like Chicago. This is the type of game that Edmonton loses. Chicago got hosed against Winnipeg. I will take the Blackhawks at 20 cents. That line will go up. People will put Edmonton in there, thinking it's going to be a lock. Every lock has a key. I think I'm coming with the Blackhawks.
Every lock has a key.
Every lock has a key.
But the problem is, Cam, I know you.
Yes?
I know you. Every lock has a key. But you lose the key.
I do lose the key. It's true. It's true. I got a lot of things in my pants.
Every lock has a key. Every lock has a key, but you better have a locksmith on speed dial.
It's a good point. A lot of different things lingering in my pockets, Brian. You've seen it. Crumbs, chicken bones, players' cards. But I'm telling you, watch out for this game. Chicago, they might be a dangerous dog. I watch that Winnipeg game. Chicago grinds, man. I'll tell you, this is not. People are going to see Edmonton at a short price. I say be very, very careful with this game. I lean to the dog.
And here we go. The get-out game.
Yep, get-out game.
You got St. Louis -$1.45 at Anaheim. Now, for starters, St. Louis is the better team.
Yes.
Case number 2 is St. Louis has the dads with them.
And
number 3 is Anaheim
Buffalo and Toronto.
No, they were at LA, at Ottawa, at Montreal, at Toronto, at Buffalo. First game home from a 5-road. If we're sitting there saying, take a little tinker toy flyer on Ottawa on the same premise against a team like Colorado, okay? St. Louis, it's got to be puck line. You get plus $1.60, $1.70 at least. St. Louis with the dads at Anaheim and at Vegas. And on top of it, St. Louis coming off back-to-back losses. St. Louis in a very big way for me.
Yeah, I'm all over the Blues. You're right. Anaheim's not even a real good team. They feel a little bit better about themselves, too. They held on to that win in Buffalo. Yeah. St. Louis, Brian, and I know what you'll do with this game. You're not just going to take the 45, 50 cents.
Oh, it's
minus 1.5. You'll look for an alternate line, too.
I'm absolutely St. Louis.
Might even do something like that.
Well, it makes sense. A lot of that, and you know what? And it ain't like if you're listening to the two of us talk, if you put two half-wits together, you get a full wit, and that's what you're dealing with here. But when it comes to hockey, it's just situations.
It is. It's good situations. I'm with you. I'm all over the Blues in this case. Hey, it sounds like we like a lot of things on the card, buddy.
All right, rattle it off.
We like St. Louis. Brian's big, ugly dog that the kids stay away from with rabies in the other side of the alley and parking lot. Ottawa.
Dog off the chain. Off the chain, too.
Off the chain. Vegas. Big money play against Minnesota. We like Vegas at minus 115. Other games to take a note, we're probably going to take Tampa Bay at even money against Pittsburgh. I like the Devils as a home pooch, plus 120. You like the over. And I would say this, if you like Arizona, if they lose to Montreal, you got to probably sprinkle against the Leafs at plus 170. And Detroit and Buffalo, like our dog, stay away.
It's the Hockey Betting Podcast. His belly is full. His pockets are full.
Yeah, not really.
and the key is somewhere on the gaming floor. Hey, folks, this is Brian Blessing. Hope you're enjoying the Hockey Betting Podcast. We have a couple chuckles, try to get you a lot of winners. Hey, we hope you like what you're hearing. And if you do, hit the subscribe button and give us a review, give us a rating. Most importantly, enjoy the hockey and keep coming back to the Hockey Betting Podcast.
The handicapping and sports odds information contained on this podcast is for entertainment purposes only. Please confirm the wagering regulations in your jurisdiction as they vary from state to state, province to province, and country to country. Using this information to contravene any law or statute is prohibited. The podcast is not associated with, nor is it endorsed by any professional or collegiate league, association, or team. This podcast does not target and is not intended for an audience under the age of 18. If you think that you have a gambling addiction, stop this podcast now and please seek help.
Gambling and betting on sports is a form of entertainment and should be about having a good time. But when done excessively, it may negatively affect other areas of a person's life, such as their physical and mental health, school or work performance, finances, and or interpersonal relationships. At BetChrisCanada.net and the Hockey Betting Podcast, we're concerned about the addiction that gambling may cause, and for this reason, we encourage everyone to practice responsible gambling, an approach to gambling that helps you ensure that it remains an enjoyable activity. Here are the main principles of responsible gambling. Don't think of gambling as a way to make money. Always gamble with money that you can afford to lose. Set limits and stick to them. Never chase losses. Don't gamble when you're depressed or upset, and create a healthy balance. Always be aware of how much time you spend gambling or thinking about gambling. And do not allow gambling to cause you to miss out on time with family and friends or time spent on other activities you enjoy. By following these guidelines, gambling can be a good time and great entertainment. If you feel at any time that your gambling is taking away from important areas of your life, is causing you stress or depression, or is leading to financial losses that are beyond your control, please reach out for help. Learn more at responsiblegambling.org.